So this is my AEW review of the AEW Dynamite Go Home show before AEW Revolution, and overall a pretty mid show. The notable standouts are the Mariah May and Tony segment, probably the best feud in women's wrestling right now, and the tag match which happened in the main event. Even though it didn't make sense, why is Kazuchika Okada teaming up with Ricochet after what happened in the Continental Classic? But I'm letting that go because the match was pretty awesome. I mean, Brody King really showed out. Like half of the match was essentially, majority of the match was essentially they were beating Ricochet's ass. Like that drop kick in the barricade. Then Brody King slapping the ball off Ricochet, and Kazuchika Okada, like he kind of hid in the match, so he could not destroy this match with his usual Okada in AEW wrestling. He was fine too. I really like the finish that Swerve actually had got Ricochet in his right where he wanted him, but Okada did a blind tag, gave an elbow drop to Swerve, then Ricochet, due to the distraction and all, grabbed his belt, Continental Championship, beat Swerve's head with it, and then pinned Swerve. So it's kind of telegraphed that Swerve is going to win on Saturday, or Sunday, whenever it is happening. Like that's pretty clear now. Like Ricochet has now got two wins over Swerve, and I think they gave him this win because they know that Swerve is going to win, and we still want Ricochet to look good. It's just that I don't know what Ricochet does next. I think he's still going to be involved in the Swerve business because if you're having Moxley and Swerve next, so I think you need a reason why Swerve loses, and it's probably going to be maybe Prince Nana turning on him and Ricochet along with him, and him joining forces with Ricochet, and we continue that feud further, and Moxley retains his title. The thing is, maybe Moxley may not retain his title against Swerve because they're doing things which are, like they're kind of making me question that are they waiting for Darby Allin or not, because they have now started doing the Wheeler Utah, dissension in the Death Riders gimmick again, because Edge and Utah had a match which was a normal match, not as boring as match that Edge, cope. He's fucking cope, man. Cope had with Pac, but he had a match with Utah, which he won, and he was like, he shaked his hand and he said, "This is what respect is like." And then Moxley comes out. There is a fine line between being unhinged a little bit and being a full-on mental patient. Like Moxley doesn't know when his kind of crazy character gets into lines of why the fuck am I watching this? Like he seems like a mental patient. The way he there, like it feels goofy. Like I know unhinged John Moxley. I know that killer John Moxley. Right now it just seems that he has one tone in his promos always. Like you need to have different tonal shifts when you talk about different stuff. Each thing has a different type of reaction. Sometimes you have to give a little bit of a less reaction to a information. He had a one tone promo going crazy, saying the basic shit that I just have to pull the trigger once on you, Cope, and you talking about respect, but this business does not have any respect, with no tonal shift at all. And that was it. They try to make Utah look like a badass, like he coming from outside the Coliseum and everything. Come on, he just looks like, what is my life? She betrayed me. Looking ass. That's just it. And Ian Riccaboni, people like him. I think he is the one who is kind of like the our next match is that he's that type of commentator. But man, was he looking like a deer in headlights here? Because I don't think the combination worked. I didn't like him here, and Taz and Excalibur. The two, why do they have these two nerds fucking bullying him all day in commentary? Like, you guys can never talk normally on commentary. You have to emote every time, add your little quips in between. You, there is a guy who is actually talking a little bit normal. You don't even let him. He brought up a really good point. The black and white of, I think it was between the Megan Bain match, I think, and they just started clowning him, bringing that, bro. If you want to, have, your little jabs at each other, have fun, do it on another show, do it on Collision. Who cares? Who watches Collision? Don't do it on Dynamite. Like, fuck. Swerve also, that Swerve Ricochet opening promo, like bringing up his, only two things make you relevant is, that laugh, I think, and that you have a wife. First thing, she's not his wife, she's his fiance. And second, like, such a base, it's not even an insult. Like, okay, like, nothing really happened in this segment. It just ended. Ricochet saying, ha ha, I'm gonna challenge for the John Moxley's world title. There were some good points that he said, that he did. Swerve did started this, and fans did support him, and it is actually true that Swerve is an asshole, because Ricochet did nothing to him. He just started going after him for no reason at all. And Swerve said, I did it because I wanted to expose you and everything, and I'm going to go after the AEW World title, and blah, 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 blah. And the segment ended. The thing is that they didn't have like an in-ring segment between Kenny Omega and Takeshita, but that promo package was really good. That got me hyped for the match. I don't really know much about both history against each other. I've not watched their two matches that they had together, and they had a really good match, like talking about their history, talking about how Takeshita has beaten Kenny Omega two times in 6 days essentially. Don Callis had, I'm just not going to replace you. I'm going to make him the top star in the company and all that. It's sad to see that Takeshita is probably going to lose on Sunday, because you have to have that, Kenny being a champion for a while, and then him and Okada having a match at All in Texas, unifying those titles again. So it's just that, what is Takeshita going to do? He's going to be involved in the Don Callis family vortex anyways. You started the show with like a 8-man tag or something, Osprey, Cassidy, House Hobbs, and I don't know who else, versus, the Murder Monsters, Mark Davis, and Brian Keith. I think Big Bill, Powerhouse. I have already said his name. I may have forgotten one. This match was pretty boring. It went on for too long. In the end, who won in the end? I think, yeah, Osprey won. You had dissension between the Callis group, that Mark Davis did not want to beat him up, but they were sending him away. They were like, you are under our rule. And then he eventually hit him with the chair after the match, when you had the Prototype, which is a very like robot as nickname, come out, Kyle Fletcher. Like, how much has Kyle Fletcher cooled off, man? He should have won the Continental Classic, or at least gone until the finals. Like, and anyways, I think probably Osprey is gonna win at Revolution, because probably Kenny's first challenger will be Osprey, because you want to have his title reign start off with the bang. Also, he's one of your the biggest stars, so you're gonna have to do this. That Megan Bain tag match also was a very boring match. Like, I like Megan Bain, like she's a future world champion. She's got that Amazonian goddess look. She's big, not big in Nia Jax ways, but big enough in more ways than one. She has a good move set in the ring. She has a silent killer gimmick right now, a heel gimmick. But one day we got to test her mic skills also. Like, the perfect destination would be for Megan Bain to eventually beat Mercedes Moné for the TBS championship. But I think what Tony is planning is probably when Athena, relinquishes that title or loses to Billy Starks, they after her 1,000-day reign, because he wants to, match Roman's reign with Athena's, they probably call Athena on the main roster of AEW and have her face Mercedes Moné and take that title. So I don't know what Megan Bayne does. I'm glad that they're putting her against Statlander, Thunder Rosa. She pinned Thunder Rosa in the end. She got the win over the F5. Like I liked some of the stuff. Like she threw Penelope Ford, like a suicide dive on both of them. She also threw her on them for the pin and everything. In the end she got the pin, so it's good. Like they are booking her well, like putting her against people like Statlander and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, former women's champion. Statlander, one of the top women in the company. So it's fine. It's just that I don't know what. And again, man, Mercedes Moné with her backstage promos, her one note. Like when I see Mercedes Moné on my screen, I just go like come on. And we don't know who Momo Watanabe is. Maybe you should have gotten her a match on this Dynamite against some kind of opponent where she looks good. You could have had another video package about her. You could have had a pull out brawl or something between Monet and Momo to set their match up, but it looks like they wanted to get Mercedes Monet on the card. They were like, oh, she was like, oh, get me one of those Joshis from New Japan who won the tournament. Easy win for Monet, and they go on further. Talking about pull apart brawls, MJF was also at the start of the show. I missed his first promo. I didn't really pay that much, attention to it. Then he was still backstage, and in kayfabe I'm going like, so for an hour or a half he's just pacing around at the same area, which kind of didn't make sense. Then Hangman came with his eco-friendly vehicle behind him, and they ran away because they Rene and MJF thought he was going to run them over, but he was not at that speed that he could have run them over, because when he stopped his car, it stopped way back from where they were standing. So if he was that fast, he would have shot maybe a little bit, closer to them, but he didn't. But then Hangman came out. He was, where are you, MJF, and everything. Then they went to the ring, and MJ and I. This was very cringy. Like he thought that he had MJF, but it was an imposter, and he was like, he made me do it, he made me do it. This is not like a big reveal. Like this just makes Hangman look like a geek, like look like he's stupid. Okay, you saw that one time. Okay, he's not dead. Why are you what? Why is Hangman doing that? Okay, you're not that. Move on. And him saying he made me do it. Like he made you do what? Like be an imposter? He didn't make you drink his blood or something. He just made you do that. That's fine. But then MJF attacked him, which I really liked one thing, because this has been constant in his character since he turned heel again, that people have been forgiving Hangman for his actions. That why hasn't he been forgiven? And that happened in the Adam Cole feud too. That why is Adam Cole a face and why is he a heel where he didn't do anything wrong? And he wanted to expose Hangman for he is a hypocrite and these fans are hypocrites, and he exposed like MJF is not wrong, Kevin Owens is right. Hmm, shirt, and then he wanted to light him on fire. And I saw a tweet which was said that MJF was like, I want to prove my point, but the point was literally putting a person on fire. And I liked that. First it was like security WWE light brawl, but then 12 13 security comes and then they pin him to the ground, because yeah, the offense of almost killing someone and lighting them on a fire is much bigger, and they're carrying him out while he's screaming. So I liked this segment. By the end they saved it instead of it looking goofy. And Mariah May and Tony segment, like it had serious sexual vibes. Like one thing they like someone like tweeted like, are they gonna wrestle or are they gonna scissor or wrestle, which was it had some of those sexual vibes. Like you always wanted to be a sick bitch, right? You destroyed everything. Do you like it now that I'm a sick bitch? Like this stuff happens in relationships. Like people can be saying like the most normal stuff on Insta, on Twitter, and they be like doing so weird stuff to get their partner's approval, man, when things are not going right. There'll be a man doing like stuff, be like, you wanted me to be this man, you wanted me to be this man, do you like it now? Like girls doing this stuff, like I'm a psychologist, do you like it now? Like it's fucking weird, but man, I want to be in that position, man. I want to be in a no, man, I want to be in that position. So it was a good, and in the end, what Tony said that, I'm not gonna kill you. That would be too easy. I'm gonna let you live because you're always gonna be in my shadow because people are always gonna know that you're a good wrestler, but you're not great. You'll always be under my shadow because you're not as good as Tony Storm. And in the end, when they ask, they'll be like, Mariah May is a mediocre wrestler. Be it in promos, be it in ring, you'll always be lower than me. Which I'm not doing justice to the segment. I'm reviewing this show just after watching it. You need to watch this. And in the end, Mariah, threw her chair away and she was like, pray for her. And this match should main event because it literally has the name Hollywood ending. And it deserves to main event. It has a much better story than Moxley and Cope. He's fucking Cope, man. Cope. And it is the ending of it. So it should probably main event that show. So it was I think probably I'll give it this a 3 out of 5, 2.5, but when you have one great segment and one like good enough, let's give it a 2.75 out of 5 show for me. So that was my review for AEW Dynamite. Go home show for AEW Revolution. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media links, which are my X/Twitter and my Instagram link, is in the description below. So go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is shabba@okicici, is in the description also. So go donate any amount of money which you can so that it can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.